Welcome to our Google AdWords 102 tutorial. In Part 9, we'll look at conversion tracking. In this video, we'll discuss Google AdWords conversion tracking. Conversion tracking is actually a very simple but very powerful feature. I'll introduce you to that area of the site in just a moment, but before we go there, it's worth mentioning that in our demo account, you'll note that the sites I'm sending clicks to aren't my sites. I don't have control of them, and that's important in this case for a specific reason. With conversion tracking, you need to have control of the sites because you need to add some code to your web pages. Okay, let's go to that area now. Click on the Campaign Management tab, and then to the Conversion Tracking sub-area. You'll see that they have some guides that help you, but it's really a very simple process. We'll begin by clicking on Start Tracking Conversions. First of all, we need to decide what type of conversion we want to track. A lot of these overlap one another, and it depends on how you want to present the information to yourself that will help you select the one that's right for you. Now, I have another AdWords account where I'm using conversion tracking to show me exactly how much free sign-up is costing me. So the most relevant for that kind of need is sign-up, designed for sites interested in tracking sign-up statistics for subscriptions or newsletters. So that's most relevant for the campaign I'm going to introduce you to in a moment, but there are other options. If you're selling something, you probably would choose purchase or sale. Or you might select lead or views of a key page, or whatever's most relevant. But for this exercise, I'll go with sign up and continue. Customize your Google Site Stats text. Now, Google insists that one of these two options, Google Site Stats Send Feedback, must appear. I generally choose the least obtrusive one since you can't opt out entirely. You can also change the background color, and you can see the preview here. Obviously, bright red or blue will make this stand out even more, so generally I would advise white, especially if your page is white. It's less likely that your visitors will notice this if it's white, and since you can't prevent this from appearing, you don't want visitors to leave your site unnecessarily. You want to make this as transparent as Google allows it to be. And continue. To add the conversion tracking code to your pages, you'll need to... And you see here that there's a lot of information, but it's a really very straightforward process. You can choose the conversion page language. We'll stick with United States English. You can choose the security level of your page, which is either HTTP or HTTPS, which in most cases is probably HTTP, though it might be HTTPS in your case. And that's it. You just click here, and the code is selected, and right-click, and copy. Now, something I should mention here is the advanced option, conversion value. You can see here within the code itself, if you choose to look at it, that conversion value equals 1. If you click here, you can change that value. It's 1 by default, but if you want to get more advanced, you can decide how much a conversion is worth to you. If you're selling something, and let's say the gross value is $100 and your net profit is $50, you generally want to compare your advertising costs against your net rather than the higher dollar figure of your gross. Compare your advertising costs against what you take home. So, in our example, where you're taking home $50 on a $100 sale, every dollar you spend on advertising is one less dollar you have in your profit. So using our example, if you make the value here $50, that says that you effectively have up to $50 that you can spend on advertising before you start losing money on the sale. If you want to stick with that value, just hit refresh. And you'll see now in the code a conversion value of 50. Or you might wish to take it back to the default value of 1. Interestingly, if you just delete the value entirely and have this text box blank and refresh, you'll see the code still says conversion value equals 1. So that really is the default. Anyway, click again, right-click Copy, and now you have the code that you need to add to your web page. Now for adding the code, you or someone you're working with needs to be familiar with editing HTML code, which is, of course, web page code. You can see the web page code at any time for any page you visit by clicking on View and then Page Source. And you'll see how it looks for whichever web page you're currently on. In this example, I've gone to the home page of Microsoft, and I'm going to save this page to my computer. Save page as, and I'm going to save it to the desktop. Now there's the web page I've just saved. And as mentioned, you do need to be able to edit HTML code to do this. You can use any editor you wish, any text editor, or Dreamweaver or Front Page, but you must have the ability with the software to edit HTML. But since HTML code is simply basic text, even this, the Windows default text editor Notepad, is fine. It's a very basic text editor, but it'll do the job just fine in this instance. So let me drag this web page into Notepad. Okay, you see lots of code, quite difficult to read, but very generally, the last body tag here, the /body tag, is the final tag just before the body of the page ends. The /HTML tag is the closing tag of the document. So the closing body tag effectively marks the end of the main content of the page. I'll just place the cursor there and press Enter a few times. Now we've created some space just before the very end of the document. And now if I place the cursor here and click on Edit, you see the cursors there, and Edit, and Paste, and there's the code which Google gave us. There it is. So you just copy and paste it just before the very end of your HTML document. Then all you need to do is save the updated document and upload it to your website and overwrite the existing page. Now for a very important point. This code goes on the page your visitor would be on after they've taken whatever action it is that you want them to take. For example, if I made a purchase online from a merchant and they were using Google Conversion Tracking, they would place this code on the Thank You for Ordering page, because when I reach the Thank You for Ordering page, I've already taken the action they want me to take. That means I've converted. I've been a visitor, they've converted by getting me to take the action they wanted me to take. So only use this code on the page you want your visitors to be on after they've taken the desired action, whether it's by signing up for a newsletter or purchasing a product or whatever you wish. That's very important. Then, as mentioned, you save the updated document and then upload it via FTP, replacing the old document. It's suggested, of course, that you do keep a copy of the original document just in case anything's gone wrong in the editing. But as you can see, it's really very straightforward. Once you've uploaded the document, we'll go back to the conversion tracking front page of Google AdWords and click on Campaign Summary.